It's Sunday, and that means it's race time here in Spa. As the cars are being prepared, let's join them trackside for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track's a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles per hour.
Good evening, race fans. I'm Pirate here with Black Flag Racing TV. And how about this? We're back. Late Night Racing Season 6, 2023. Just 3 races remain. And here we are, round 8 in Belgium. Spa is one of the greatest racing tracks on the planet. Absolutely love it here. It does rain a lot in reality, but hopefully no rain today. Looking for some proper full-on racing here at Spa. You heard Crofty talk about the track. Here we go. This is Spa. Let's get rid of that so you can see it better. Turn 1, the source, always a source of amusement. Certainly on lap 1. Got to be really careful going in there. It's a big braking zone, the source. Then turn 2, it's not much of a turn really. It's flat out. Up through 3, 4, 5, Eau Rouge and Radion. Then up the Kemmel Straight into Lecum 7, 8 and 9. Another big braking zone up there. It's all about getting the turn right as you go into the first right-hander of Lecum. Just to give you some real good exit speed coming through turns 8, little lift for turn 9, and then down to Bruxelles. Big, long right-hander. I mean, it just takes forever to get around almost. You know, you're changing down to probably 2nd or 3rd gear, and you just forever to get around before you can get on the power through turn 11, and then flat out pretty much through Pouillon, down to turns 13 and 14 at Campus. Stavelot at 15 is a good, solid left-hander, and then it is powering through, right-hander, the powering through turn 16 along the Paul Freire. Into Blanchimont 17, 18, and then the bus stop chicane. Absolute carnage there if you don't get it right. You're changing down to probably 20 miles an hour for the right-hand turn entry into there. And then you either continue on to the lap or you pop into the pit lane for change of tyres. We are sprint race today. That's what we're all about. We're all about the sprint race today. So, yes, so it's going to be 5 laps of sprint race, followed by the 25% race as usual, and then your 50% race here at Spa. So really looking forward to it. Sprint race format, very simple. It is reverse championship order. Don't know how many we got today. I have a feeling there's a few missing. Generally expected this time of year when you've just got into a new year and you've got some new stuff going on. But we are expecting a relatively full lobby, certainly more than half out there, and we'll have a look and see who we've got in there in a minute. But first things first, we're on round 8 now. There is literally 3 races remaining in the season today, and then we've got 2 more after that, and I will run you through just what is left this season if I can find it. There we go. So we are, in fact there's more than that, because there's 12 races. So we've got 5 races left, ignore me. So we've got sprint quality today at Spa. Next week we are off to Interlagos, my favourite racetrack, for round 9. That is followed by China on the 17th of Jan. Last sprint quality of the season will be at France and the Paul Ricard. I hate that racetrack. It is god awful. Don't know why anyone would choose to do that one. But there we go. It is what it is. And then we finish the season, of course. Where else can we finish the season other than Bahrain on the 31st of January? And that will commence the end of season 6. But what you really want to know is where we stand in terms of the championship. Well, I can tell you, this is where we stand. Let me get rid of that first. There's your top 3. That is who's fighting out for the title this season. Dunners, the reigning champion, currently sitting on 270 points in his Aston Martin. Morgi 84 in Ferrari, 226 points for him, and Friendly Dutch 206 in the prancing Red Bull. The rest of the order, of course, we'll find here. That's how the rest of the order looks. Quick Killers in fourth place for Williams, 175 points. Bimmerguy 160 for AlphaTauri. McSchmeed in the other Red Bull, 154 points. Blumchum 150, level with Riley, Ferrari and Alfa Romeo respectively. Then we've got Battle in the Williams, 145 points. Wolsey rounds out that top 10 for Alfa Romeo. And then we've got the standard run down. There's Beckett, Mad Max, Joseph. We know Joseph's incredibly quick. Of course it is. Of course, Daryl, you are absolutely right. Anything is better than the theatre. Literally lying in your pants in a pool if you're sick is better than going to the theatre. But we'll talk about that later. Yes, we know Joseph's very quick. He went on an extended holiday throughout this season, so we didn't get to see much of him early doors. Hopefully we might see him again today. RP Life running 14th, Ryan in 15th. 16th is Mr. J, Error in 17th, 18th is Connor, Grimmy in 19th, and Drew Cameron brings out the top 20 in 20th place. If you want to check out a really, really, really fun broadcast, they had a F2 Championship at the end of 2022. You can find it here on Black Flag TV, and it was a lot of fun, really fast, really frenetic. One race after the other, back to back, just smashing out 5 laps at a time. It was absolutely brilliant, really, really good laugh. That, though, is your Constructors' Championship. Ferrari lead the way, 376 points. Still all to play for, though. Red Bull Racing in second, 365. There's plenty of time to go still. Williams as well in that mix, 320. Aston Martin with the current championship leader racing for them. Still some points put on the board for them, 316. Alfa Romeo, 2 drivers in that top 10, 266 points. Then we've got AlphaTauri, 264. Then we sort of drop down a little bit. We've got Alpine, Mercedes AMG, 155, 145. Haas with 104 points, and McLaren not demonstrating what we expect to see from McLaren on just 91 points. But still plenty of races to go. And I said there were 3 races left. I lied. There are actually 5 races to go. So really looking forward to seeing how that pans out. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll leave that top 3 up there for a second. Because what I've noticed about Dunners, and he's very consistent in that he doesn't... I mean, he didn't win the first 4 races of the season. No, I lie. He won the feature race in round 4 at Austria. But he's always been there or thereabouts and putting in some decent times. And that's what's key. It's about consistency. And if you can consistently put in good, solid performances, get the car home. That's another thing, is get that car home. Do not end up with a DNF. Because DNF's no points. So you've got to get it home. And that's what these guys at the top have been doing. Dunners, Moggy, Friendly Dutch. They've been finishing races. And finishing pretty much quite well most of the time. And that's why they're fighting it out in that top 3. When we look further down the order, we look at Quick Killers. We know he's very fast. We know Bimmerguy can chuck in a result or 2. And McSchmeed also, when he puts his mind to it. Blumchum has been a surprise for me because he is very quick, but has had a few DNFs, and that really does make the difference when it comes to it. But we'll see how it pans out over the course of the next next few races. 15 seconds to go before we move into the race lobby, and we'll get cracking with tonight's events. We'll go run through the list in a minute. So here we go, getting loaded. And Belgium's one of my favourite racetracks. I really do like it. It's no Interlagos, which is my absolute favourite. But I never turned down the opportunity to race at Spa. It's not fun in the rain. It's a very tricky racetrack, and it can be incredibly unforgiving if you get something wrong. But my God, it's a very fast track to watch. Very quick racing, and you can see some awesome overtaking, particularly with the slipstream through the Kemmel Straight and around on the Backstrait Blanchimont. But there we go. We are ready to go. It is going to be straight into it. It's going to be 5 laps from the grid. Yeah, 30 seconds to start. I'm waiting for a menu to come up. But they're going to start straight from the grid. It's reverse championship order based on who is involved. 5 laps to set the grid for race number 1, which will be the 25% race. All to play for everyone. And it's, qualifying this way is very difficult because you've got those championship leaders at the back of the pack. It's key that they finish these 5 laps to give themselves the best possible position. But you still have the problem of getting through the pack and trying to make your way through that order. And we are away. We've got Drew Cam leads them out. Straight off the bat, Connor with an absolutely fantastic start. Right up. And there's some contact there through La Source. We said it, it's always a bit of contact on that one through there. And it looks like a few people are dropping down that order. Fingers is retired. Fingers had a really, really bad first turn. And he is already out of this race. So we've got... what have we got? We don't need any other information, do we, for now? Connor, there he is out in the lead. He is... already 1.1 seconds clear of McShmee in the Red Bull. Good start from him as well, getting himself up into second place in this sprint race. And it is 5 laps around here, so no time. It's not about fuel saving, it's just flat out, balls out racing. Mr. J up into third. That's a really, really high position for him. If he can hold on there, that's going to be a really good opportunity for him in this race to move his way forward. Bimmerguy in 4th place. He is he can be very quick in that AlphaTauri. Certainly one to watch out for if he gets a good grid start position. Moggy in 5th place in the Ferrari. He's in that top 3 in the championship, so we'll want to continue on his charge. Ryan is running in 6th place. He's just half a second back, but about to be challenged by Quick Killers. Does he make the move? Yes, he does. Quick Killers in that Williams moves up into 6th place. Ryan dropping down to 7th. Drew Cam in 8th place in McLaren. Dunners is way back in 9th, and it looks like he might have got caught up in the shenanigans through La Source at the beginning of lap 1, and we're just starting lap 2. Hopefully we can get through the source without any damage this time. Dunners up to 8th place. We watch Ryan dropping down the order. Blumchum in 10th place. And he clearly got caught up in some of those shenanigans. And Beckett, well, there's no front wing on that car. Absolutely no front wing on that car. So he's trying desperately to get into the pits and get that replaced. But he is 8.3 seconds adrift and will be much more so. Speeding in the pit lane. Without a win. Fingers, of course, is out. Absolutely melted into the back of someone by the looks of things at La Source. Beckett is retiring from this session. Probably makes sense. I mean, you're not going to be able to qualify any higher with just 3 laps remaining. So let's do, I think when Connor crosses the line, assuming he's still in the lead, we'll do a full lap around this racetrack just so you can see what it's all about. And you know just how cool this racetrack is. But Connor leads from McShmee 1.3 seconds, then 3.3 seconds back to Bimmerguy. Moggy running in front. There's a spin from Connor and into the wall. That puts McShmee up into the lead. Bimmerguy goes through, Moggy through, Quick Killers through, and that is a devastating result for him, especially with the Aston Martin team wanting to make a charge for the championship. He's now out of this race. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Are we going to successfully complete this race while he pulls off to the side of the racetrack? So here we go. This will be, let's do an onboard lap with McShmee. He's in the lead of this race. So you go down to the source. You pull over to this left-hand side, 50-metre board on the brakes, down to 2nd gear. Get that turned in on the power as soon as you dare. You're drifting over to this right-hand side following that pit wall. And you want to turn early because it's flat out here through Radion and Eau Rouge. Flat all the way through. Then you're up into 8th gear by the time you've come through there. And then you're bombing up the Kemmel Straight. And if we look back, look at the gap behind. 4.1 seconds. Too much of the grass for Fingers in La Source, which is why he's out of the race. Got to be careful through the source, man. It's key on that one. Then you're up after the Kemmel Straight around here, and this is that turn I was talking about. It just seems to take an age to make the turn. It's almost as though you're going back on yourself, or you are going back on yourself, but round in a circle. Little lift for here, then you head down to this beautiful, beautiful sweeping left-hander here, and you literally just change down a gear to get the rotation, back on that power, staying to this right-hand side, using as much of the road as you dare before you break down to fifth gear. You switch around to the right-hand side, to the left-hand side, on the power again as you head down to this final sector, and you get that turned in. And this is pretty much the last time you will brake until you hit the bus stop chicane, and that is in full power all the way through. And you do not need to lift for any of this. You just make sure you get the turns right. You've got to turn here, you just have to make sure you've got the grip as you go through. And then to the left-hand side, big braking zone here for the bus stop chicane. Get it slowed down, get it turned in, using all the curves, and then that is it. That is lap 3 completed here. And we've lost Mr. J as well from this sprint qualifying. So McShmee well out in front. Quick Killers just behind. He's 5.3 seconds behind in second. Not anymore, he's not. Round and round he goes, and you can't park that there, my friend. Moggy up into second place. He is 6.5 seconds behind. He's got Bimmerguy for company. So there's your top 3, and quite devastatingly high up compared to everyone else, this top 3. Nice big gap. Quick Killers and Dunners were having a little battle there. Was that Dunners coming out of the pits? I don't think so. So Quick Killers and Dunners with a little battle. Quick Killers at the moment just has the edge as they get to the top of that Kemmel Straight. Dunners with a penalty to serve as well. That penalty will... it's not really what you want to have after a 5-lap sprint race, to be fair. There's Ryan running in 6th place, 5.1 seconds back from Dunners. Let's have a quick look at that penalty, because I want to see how big it is. It's only a 2-second penalty for Dunners, so Ryan's got some work to do if he wants to overhaul that deficit. Blumchump in 7th, Drew Cam in 8th, and then Mr. J, Connor, Beckett and Fingers qualifying 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. There are 12 runners this evening. Mr. J, Connor and Beckett and Fingers all out of this sprint qualifying. For Fingers will start from the rear of the grid after losing it literally on the first turn. But McShmee, no such problem for him. Really solid lap time for him, and I want to see what sort of lap times he's chucking out actually, because that's a 1:46.2. That is a phenomenally quick lap. To be fair, I mean, Blumchum's only 4/10 slower, but way back in 8th place. 52.2 for Drew Cam, 48.5 for Ryan, 49.1 for Dunners. That's not super quick, that. Quick Killers with a 47.2, 48.2 for Bimmerguy, and a 47.3 for Moggy. And here we are on lap number 5 of 5 in this sprint race here at the beautiful Spa, which is in Belgium, if you didn't know, but you do now. Beautiful racetrack. And when it's sunny here, this is a great racetrack, but it rains all too often. And this is where I have the little dig at F1, is that you have wet weather tyres, but whenever it rains here, you get to follow a safety car around. What's the freaking point? What's the point? Use the bloody wet tyres, or if the wet tyres aren't good enough, then develop better wet tyres. We have the technology. Just get on with it. No more following the safety car around just because it's wet. We need real men in the cars like we used to in the old days, and when everyone used to die every other Grand Prix. So McShmee leads Bimmerguy up into 2nd place. Moggy couldn't hold on. Quick Killers in 3rd, Moggy 4th, Dunners in 5th, Ryan in 6th, Drew Cam 7th, Blumchum in 8th place, and the other 4 runners were DNF. Is there any opportunity for any change here for anyone? Has Ryan closed that gap? No, he's not. He's not closed that gap on Dunners at all. 5.5 seconds now, so that penalty is not going to cost anything for Dunners, other than a little bit of pride for not being closer. So here we go. McShmee will he'll cross the line. He has finished 10 seconds clear of Bimmerguy, who gets himself on that front row alongside him for the first race. Quick Killers We'll head up row 2 with Moggy alongside him. Dunners will be on row 3 with Ryan alongside. Drew Cam row 4, if he makes it there, of course. Here comes Ryan, there he is, just completing his lap now. Drew Cam will finish on row 4 with Blumchum alongside him. Then Mr. J with Connor alongside him. Beckett will have Fingers alongside him. So just the 12 of the 20 runners this evening here at Spa. Just waiting for the last ones to come home, and there we go. Good performance from McShmee. Connor early doors got way out, but really good start from him. Quick Killers did really well as well, moving up the order, but Connor couldn't keep the car on the racetrack and ended up binning it and ended up a DNF. So there we go. That's the sprint race over, done and dusted. That offers some points, of course, because there is points involved in the sprint race. Top 8 will get points. The top 8 were the only ones that finished. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pretty much just like that. You don't get an extra point for fastest lap, of course. So that won't be an extra point there. But 8 juicy points for McShmee before the racing's even really started. That was just qualifying. Now we move into the race, of course, where the top 15 will score. The top 15 will score points. And of course, both championship races will contribute to the final championship score. So there we go. McShmee will lead out. Bimmerguy from Quick Killers and Moggy. Then Dunners, Ryan, Drew Cam, Blumchum, Mr. J, Connor, Beckett, and Fingers rounds out that top 12 grid for this first race here, which I think we're pretty much going to go straight into. Beckett did have to change out his tyres. So that's why he's so far back and did end up quitting out of the race. So 25% race, which is about 11 laps. You're looking at, it's definitely a soft medium race. That, and I would imagine those out front will start on the soft compound tyres. You're probably going to get 6 laps, 6 good solid laps out of those soft compound tyres. And then jumping for the mediums for the second stint. So just waiting for everything to get changed up, ready for the next race. And then we get cracking again. So yes, it will be 11 laps for this first 25% race. We've got our grid set from that lovely 5-lap race there, and so it's going to be key about your strategy here. Do you choose to go for the mediums early on, run a little bit longer? You've got 11 laps to do. Now we know you can take those softs about 6. You can take the soft 6 laps. Whether you want to or not is another matter. Do you want to really kind of burn out those soft tyres early on and run the mediums for longer? Well, it's not really that big a deal, to be fair. Your tyre strategy here, fuel strategy maybe a little bit. Are you going to risk under fueling? Are you hoping for a safety car? That's the big thing. Particularly if we have an issue like we did in La Source in lap 1, brings a safety car out. You could potentially run the medium compound tyres for 11 laps. So do you take that opportunity, if there is a safety car really early on in this race, to switch out the soft tyres, if you're on them of course, and put on the medium tyres and run to the end, and hope that there isn't another safety car. The problem is with Spa, the likelihood is there's going to be 1 or 2. Particularly, I mean, we might only see 1 in this 11 lap sprint race, but when we hit the feature race, a 22 lap feature race after this one, I can imagine we're going to see some people hitting walls or other cars. And remember, it's a very, very fast racetrack, very unforgiving. We've seen just how easily even the best drivers can lose the back end of their car into relatively simple corners. La Source is relatively simple. It's get your car slowed down to 30 mile an hour, second gear, and get it turned in. But you can just get a little bit squirrely coming into the corner, just catching that grass, and it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. But we are pretty much ready to get racing. Just 15 seconds to go while everyone loads into the game. Not going to have any issues with crossplay, I don't think. I think we're just PlayStation today, so we haven't got any of those stupid issues. So we set the grid from the sprint race qualifying. Of course, this race will then set the grid for race number 2, and it is raining. This is where it's going to go absolutely batshit crazy. Spa in the rain is very, very unforgiving. It's a completely different racetrack when it's wet. Corners you would usually take flat, you have to lift for. Some you even have to brake for. You've got to be so careful. And I'll tell you what, there is definitely going to be a safety car or 5 in these weather conditions. So be prepared. I was kind of hoping we were going to have 3 sunny races here and just go flat out. But not the case. It does, of course, mean that they're not bound by the rules of 2 compounds, because as you know, when there's you only have to use 2 compounds when it's a non-wet race. So just the 1 compound required. That will be inters or wets, depending, of course, on how wet the track is, and we'll certainly have a look at that when the race begins. Just waiting for everyone to load in, and it is a bit frustrating, these loading times in between races here. Many other racing games don't quite have these crazy loading times. Don't quite see the need for them, to be honest. If everyone's in, they're in. But you know, it is what it is. So my prediction: we've got 12 cars on track, which is obviously, you know, it's 8 cars less than a full grid. But the kind of carnage we usually see in the rain, I would expect we're probably going to have. If we look at the sprint race where we lost 4 to DNF in those 5 laps, based on that and the fact it's raining, I reckon we finish with half the grid after 11 laps. Everyone else taking an early bath, or whatever they do when they've crashed their car and they have to watch all their friends that continue to race. So yeah, as I said, we're at Spa today. We've got 5 races, including today, of course. There are 5 races left in the series, so still all to play for. So there's 3 lights, there's 4 lights, there is 5 lights, and we are away here. Finally away. And so it's intermediate tyres to start for pretty much everyone. And Shmee already, I don't know why it's showing me him. Already loses out to Quick Killers, and there's carnage at the back. Absolute carnage. There is people all over the racetrack. There is carbon fibre everywhere. Beckett was facing the wrong way and does start to get running again now. I said it was going to be a source of carnage, and it already has been. Dunner's picking up a penalty really early on. But Quick Killers gets the jump on McShmee up into the lead of this race on those intermediate tyres. Does it stay intermediate weather? That's the question. Is it going to get significantly wetter? We have no weather radar to check, which is a bit of a shame. But we'll see. Let's have that full track map up there. So we can see Quick Killers. He's not pulling away. McShmee is sticking with him. They are, of course, pulling away from Moggy in 3rd. Already 1.3 seconds. There'll be no DRS, of course. You don't get DRS when it's wet because that's how people die. Bimmerguy is in 4th place in the Alpha Tauri. He's got Drew Cam just 6/10 behind him in that McLaren. McLaren really need to pick up some points today. They are plumb last in the Constructors' Championship, and with just 5 races to go, they need to put some points on the board to avoid the embarrassment of being the rubbishest team. Connor running in 6th place, tucked right in behind Drew Cam at the moment, looking for a way through. Very risky to try that move on there. Be surprised if anyone does. Dunner's running in 7th place. He has already picked up a penalty. That penalty is worth how much? Let's have a look. That penalty is worth 3. Oh no, it's a drive-through penalty, which he's just serving now. 3-second penalty for Connor. So in goes Dunners to serve that drive-through. He's followed through by his teammates, also serving the penalty. Are they going to change out the tyres after serving a penalty? Or are they just going to go straight? It looks like he's just going to go straight through his Dunners. Well, it is a drive-through penalty. That's what you usually do. Front wing change for his teammate. So not a great day so far for the Aston Martin team in their plunge for the championship. That's not going to do them very well. They're both running in 10th and 11th place. Only Ryan is further back than them in 12th, and there he is, ghosted out as well. So it looks like he might be computer controlled at the moment. So McShmee back into the lead of this race. He's just ahead of Quick Killers. It is torrential out there, and at the moment the Inters are holding out, but for how long? Quick Killers running in second, Moggy in third. Drew Cam is up to 4th place in that McLaren. Good result for them if they can finish there. Bimmerguy in that AlphaTauri's dropped a couple of places, running in 5th. Blumchum up to 6th place, just 2.8 seconds ahead of Fingers, who is running today in the Alfa Romeo by the looks of it. Yeah, that is an Alfa Romeo. Of course it's an Alfa Romeo. Mr. J is running in 8th place in the Haas. Fingers, of course, is a reserve driver. He's covering for A. Riley and his teammate. His name escapes me right now, but I will remember it in a minute. Dunners' current championship, or current champion and championship leader, in 10th place, had a drive-through penalty, so he had to go through and serve that. He's running in 10th, 6.2 seconds back from Beckett. Connor running in 11th place. He gets to change a front wing as McShmee puts in a 1:59 dead lap, which is, to be fair, in these conditions, it's pretty fucking tasty, I've got to say. And Ryan some 12, 13 seconds back at the moment. Significant work for him to do to close up that gap. Let's have a look at position changes. So big loser is Dunners, down 5 places, down 6 for Ryan. That is purely because of Dunners' penalty, and that's why he's down so far. McShmee starting pole, lost out initially to Quick Killers, back in the lead now. He's opened up a 1.9 second gap from Quick Killers, starting to give himself a little bit of breathing room out in front. That is a time penalty there for Connor, and he's also got a DNF. So Connor didn't finish in, and he was quick. He started qualifying very well, ended up not finishing qualifying, and a DNF in race number 1. So here we are. That's all 3 sectors of the yellow flag. Does that give us a full safety car? We will soon find out about that. It's a virtual safety car. So, does anyone take this opportunity to go in? You can run them to the end of this race on that 1 set tyres. So you don't actually have to go in at all. But does anyone want to go in and get some fresh boots and see if that gives them any further impetus? I doubt we will see anyone coming in at this stage. Another good winner there. Drew Cam's up 3 places in that McLaren, and as I said earlier, McLaren need to pick up some points today. They're right at the bottom of the Constructors' Championship, so some good points for them today would be great. Speeding under the virtual safety car, Fingers has the finger wagged at him by the marshals, and that is a drive-through penalty. So the answer to, is anyone going into the pits? Yes, Fingers is to serve a penalty. Naughty, speeding under that VSC. Bimmerguy down 3 places, started in that top 3, lost out early on, and we'll hear what we left 4 now. He is currently 2.4 seconds back from Drew Cam, slowly closing the gap, of course, under this virtual safety car, but he's going to have to be wary when it restarts, which it may well have already done. It has indeed. Is Blumchum going to give him some grief? Izzy, well, they go through there, and at the moment he's just tucked in behind, but some good slipstream for him, and this move could get done. Let's just have a look and see how close he is. Well, he's not, certainly not close enough to make a move at the top of the Kemmel straight, So he's just going to have to stay where he is for now, I think, is Blumchum. I've got 2 Ferraris running today. That's pretty darn good, bearing in mind that we've not got that many runners. Oh, excuse me. Yawning at you. Do you know what? It's been sitting at home all day and just doing fuck all that. When you're kind of back out and about doing stuff, you get tired so easy. Mr. J4 Haas running in 7th place. 6.87 seconds back from Blumchum. But he's got a bit of a cushion himself to Beckett, who was at one stage cut adrift, facing the wrong way when the race started, but has worked his way back up to 8th place. Dunner's running in 9th. Really needs to get a better performance today. He did have a drive-through penalty early on, which obviously cost him. Fingers after serving his drive-through penalty in the Alfa Romeo, down in 10th place, but still up 2 positions. Bearing in mind he crashed out at the source on the very first corner. So the first time someone asked him to go round a corner, he crashed out in the sprint qualifying. Ryan is bringing up the rear in 11th place. Still ghosted out. Looks to me like he has paused and gone for a smoke. And Connor is a did not finish. And the track is starting to evolve, starting to get some pace out of it. And that's a sub 158 lap there from Schmee, who's opened up a 6-second gap over Quick Killers. Quick Killer's not having it all his own way though. He has to endure the onslaught of Moggy, just 6/10 behind him. Luckily, I think he's just far enough ahead. Although Moggy got a much better exit out of Radion and Eau Rouge, and is looking to try and make a move into this right hand at the top. Not quite close enough this time, but if he can stay tucked in under that wing of that Williams racing car, I think we might see a potential overtake from Moggy, and can muscle that Ferrari into that top 3. And of course, if he's being held up by Moggy, that brings Drew Cam running in 4th place into the fight. So can he close up and get himself into the top 3? And that would be some brilliant points for the McLaren team if he could. Currently running just under a second behind Moggy at the moment. A couple of seconds back from Quick Killers, of course. 3 places gained for Blumchum. He's not too far off that battle. He's only 3 seconds off the battle for 3rd at the moment. So that is still a potential. It's essentially the battle for 2nd going on at the moment. Bimmer Guy just dropped off. He's already lost 4 places. He's back in 6th place. He's at 2.6. And the gap, for a very brief moment, I don't know if anyone caught that, the gap for a very brief moment was exactly the same between Drew Cam and Blumchum as it was between Blumchum and Bimmer Guy. And I mean literally to the thousandth of a second, which is pretty darn cool. That meant that their pace was clearly very similar in that part of the racetrack. Mr. J, 8 seconds back. Gained 2 positions though. He's in that Haas. It doesn't look like Beckett is closing the gap on him. Will be under a second as they come through the bus stop chicane. Is Beckett able to make a move? We're looking here as they head up the hill. So across the line there. Big braking zone. Big braking zone here. Can Mr. J get on the power quick enough? He's on that power as they head up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. And the gap is still, 7/10 of a second. Is that going to be? Well, I think it really depends on how quickly they come through here. And you've got a lift in this weather. Very close on track limits there. But what an exit there from Beckett. We see Beckett just streaming past. He got such a good exit through there. Carries so much more speed. And that just allowed him to tuck in that slipstream and move up into 7th place. It's a good overtake there from him. Lap 11, halfway point. Dunners down 4 places after his drive-through penalty. 1.5 seconds is the gap to Mr. J. Can he close that gap and get himself involved a bit further up the racetrack? I'm sure he'd be loving it if he could. But at the moment, it's not looking so great for him. Fingers 12.7 seconds he's off, and that is incredibly slow going from him. Let's have a look at lap time, shall we? Always good to have a look at some lap times. Fastest lap, well, the 2 fastest laps are sub 58. That is from Dunners with a 57.9. McSchmido churning out a 57.8. That is a phenomenal lap time. If you consider that pretty much everyone else is over 158. You know, so that's over a second faster. And he's just gone a little bit quicker again with that 57.874. So he's clearly finding the time that others just can't find at the moment. 58, 58, 59. Excuse me, Mr. J, fingers both 2 minutes, and Ryan with clearly on pause. It's 2 minute 8. He's on auto drive for the duration of this race by the looks of things. Yeah, he still looks ghosted actually. That is a 3 second time penalty for Moggy. Now, how much is that going to cost him? Because there's still that battle going on for third place. Is he going to make the move here? That's the question. That's the interval we want. That's the... There we go. 3 second time penalty. Now, Drew Cam is only 2.1 seconds back. We're on lap 7 of 11 laps here in this first of 2 races here at Orris. Technically, the second of 3 races if you count the sprint qualifying as a race, which I suppose you can do. It was a race. They did go fast. They did overtake each other. But Moggy, at the moment, concerned with that 3 second penalty. So he will really, really now want to try and get past Quick Killers and try, if he can, to open up a bit of a gap. Because at the moment, he's going to drop out of that top 3, and Drew Cam's going to slide in there like a cashmere codpiece. Slide in. Blumchum, at the moment, 1.1 seconds behind Drew Cam, but only needs to close up that gap by a few tenths. And all of a sudden, Moggy is looking at finishing behind his teammate. So, has Moggy got anything else in the tank? Can he... I mean, it looks at the moment where he is so tucked in behind Quick Killers, but just not able to get that impetus to make that final move. And that's a 1:57.4 from McShmee. This boy's just getting faster and faster out in front. 8.2 seconds now is the gap. And I don't think he's going to get caught today. He's looking very, very quick here at Spa today. And I wonder if this is indicative of things to come. Someone is crashed in Sector 3. Can we work out who it is? Looks to me like that might be Mr. J. Let's have a look. No, he's going quickly. Maybe it's not them. But Moggy just doesn't seem to get the exit out of Radio No Rouge that he needs to make the move on Quick Killers up the hill. Quick Killers just seems to be a little bit quicker through that sector. And then what happens here is that you'll see now that Moggy will start to close up and really be tucked in behind Quick Killers all the way around to the bus stop. And then it's kind of rinse and repeat. So at the moment, Quick Killer's doing just enough. Listen, if you can keep the car behind you, even though it's faster, and you yourself, and that someone has had a crash in Radio No Rouge, and I think that's going to bring out the safety car. That is, who was that? That's Beckett. It's Beckett, isn't it? So Beckett looks to me like he's crashed in Eau Rouge. That's going to be a full safety car. Absolutely it is. We may very well finish this race under a safety car, and that's going to be devastating for Drew Cam. Oh, actually for Moggy, because Drew Cam, Blumchum, maybe even Bimmer Guy can get within that 3 seconds under a safety car, particularly if it lasts for the duration of this race. And really close that gap. I don't think Quick Killers, there's not enough time, even if Quick Killers does catch up to the back of McShmee. He's been so incredibly quick. And he's actually coming into the pits. 5 second penalty. That puts a different complexion on things. He's come into the pits to change out those intermediate tyres. But with a 5 second time penalty and the pit loss, he could be in trouble. All that hard work is about to be undone. Well, it's undone just for going in the pits anyway. Everybody else staying out. And I don't see any reason why you needed to pit at that stage. It's very likely this safety car is going to be out for the duration of the rest of this race. Certainly for a couple of laps. So that's a big, big blow. With that 5 second penalty, after all that hard work, getting himself onto pole after the sprint race, doing all that work to get 8 seconds clear, or 11 seconds clear, when the safety car came out at the end of lap 8. And he's now potentially going to finish, well, he's certainly going to finish outside the top 5, but could potentially finish behind Bimmerguy in 6th place. And that's all dependent, of course, on whether Mr. J Dunner's fingers Ryan close right up under the safety car. So Quick Killers is your leader now, with Moggy up into 2nd, although Moggy will lose a place or 2, in fact 2 places at least with that 3-second penalty. Question is whether and how much we get, if we do get some racing, really, because at the moment we've got Quick Killers, Moggy, McShmee. They're the top 3 behind this safety car. We're on lap 9 of 11 here at Spa, and no word yet if this safety car is coming in this lap. If it doesn't, we go round again for lap 10, which means that we'll only have, if we get one full lap of racing. But I was made to eat my words about the DNFs. We've only got 2 DNFs from this race number 1, which surprises me actually, because more people crash when it's dry than when it's wet. So you have to question why. It's so much easier to slip. It's so much easier to crash. So much easier to make a mistake. And the safety car is coming in this lap. So it's down to Quick Killers. He controls the pace. They're going to go through this long sector 3. The safety car will just start to open up a gap now. Quick Killers will want to back that pack up and just swerving that car across that racetrack, just trying to generate just a little bit of heat into those medium compound tyres, which is difficult to do in the current rainy conditions. And I mean, it has stopped raining, but the track is still moist. And moist means slide. Moist is an idiot word for slide the fucking back end out, apparently. So here we go. We are about to restart here. We're going to ride on board with Moggy. Is he going to be vulnerable to the advances of McShmee into the source? Are they through clean? Hell yeah, they are. Everyone else through clean? It looks to be. No one looks to be going wide. So Moggy heads on up the road, and Quick Killers knows he needs to open a gap. McShmee is very, very quick around here. So he obviously feels that in 2 laps he can make those overtakes. But that 5-second penalty is going to be hanging over him like a very bad smell. Because, if he makes this overtake here, it looked to me like he was going to get both. He did just get Moggy's up into 2nd. So he has got literally 5 sectors of this racetrack to make a 5-second gap appear at the front. A 3-second time penalty for Fingers, who was warned, but he is 39 seconds clear of Ryan. He's not going to finish last in this race because Ryan is going very, very slowly. It does scupper any chance, I think, of Fingers catching up to Mr. J, of course. But Quick Killer still in the lead of this race, still holding off the advance of McShmee. And the longer he can do that for, the better. Because if he can hold him off for one more lap, and there's a spin, McShmee spins round and round and round, and that charge is over. No more big points for the Red Bull. Finds himself 3.3 seconds behind Fingers in 9th place. All over, just pushed a little bit too hard, asked too much of the car, and it was a good night Vienna, yippee-ki-yay mofo. And that car went backwards, forwards, all sorts of craziness. And a 3-second, another penalty for him. And he's in real danger here of losing it, as Dunners puts in the fastest lap with a 1:51.4. So the track really evolving now, really starting to dry out. We're on the final lap here. It is Quick Killers 1.4 seconds clear of Moggy in 2nd place in the Ferrari. Drew Cam, great points for McLaren today, up into 3rd place. That is a brilliant performance from Drew Cam. He's not really been in and amongst it this season, but that is a good performance if he can stay ahead of Dunners has just made the move on Blumchum up into 4th place. So Dunners, who at one stage, after serving a drive-through penalty on lap 1, found himself way adrift at the back of the pack, now finds himself up into 4th place. Another penalty for Fingers. He does not want to finish ahead of McShmee, clearly. He's doing his very, very best. And Drew Cam under pressure from Dunners. Dunners makes the move up into the top 3 and just snatches up Drew Cam like it's a lion plucking a gazelle from the plains of Africa. And off he goes. Can he get a munch on Moggy? He is absolutely on fire right now. This is a massive charge from Dunners. We're on lap 11. We have got only a few corners left to go. But Moggy is vulnerable. It is 0.6 of a second. It's 0.3 of a second. It's 1/10 of a second. And here he goes. He makes the move up into 2nd. Dunners takes 2nd place. What an absolute last lap charge from the reigning champion. He is on it like you wouldn't believe. He's come alive. Absolutely come alive on those soft compound tyres. He took the gamble. He put those soft compound tyres on and it's absolutely paid off. What a charge. Can he take the lead? He can't. Oh, he does. He takes the lead by virtue of the penalty. Dunners takes the win. Drew Cam, 2nd place for him. Bimmerguy in 3rd. Blumchum 4th. Moggy finishes behind his teammate in 5th place. Quick Killers with his penalties down into 6th. Fingers will finish in 7th place. McShmee in 8th. Ryan will finish in... will he finish even in 9th place or 10th? Mr. J is a DNF. But what an absolute stonking last lap from Dunners. That is very, very impressive. What a gamble that was. I genuinely didn't even want to mention the fact he put on soft compound tyres because I thought it was stupid. But my God, what a decision that proved to be. And he came out on those soft tyres and went for it and absolutely dominated the entire racetrack then. No question who driver of the day is. Absolutely no question. It was brave, it was bold, it was ballsy, and it was worth it. There is 28 lovely points, and that will extend his lead at the top of the current championship. And it won't do any harm to the Constructors' Championship either, because that's how the Constructors looks right now. But a big 28-point haul over the Williams, Red Bull and Ferrari will close that gap on that top 3. He'll certainly jump Williams. Whether he manages to jump Red Bull and Ferrari is another matter. But certainly a really, really good job from him. What a finish that was. And welcome the fuck back is all I can say. 2023 is already proving to be an absolute festival. A festival of brilliance. So, race number 1. Done and dusted. Your winner was Dunners of Aston Martin, ahead of Drew Cameron McLaren. Great points for McLaren, and that should help get them off the bottom of the table. And Dunners absolute balls of steel to put soft tyres on when he did, but my God, did it pay off. Bimmerguy for AlphaTauri brings home the bronze medal, 3rd place. Blumchum for Ferrari and Moggy, his teammates, finishing 4th and 5th. Moggy with penalties drops him down the order. Quick Killers was leading, finishes in 6th place due to penalties. Fingers finishes in 7th. McShmee with all of his penalties finishes in 8th place. And then we had Ryan in 9th, and then we had 3 did not finish. So there we go. We'll have a top 10 reverse grid for the next race, which will be 22 laps of that. And I'll tell you what, I predicted we'd only finish with half of them. We finished with everyone but 3. So 9 drivers finished that, which is fantastic in those weather conditions. And we move on for 22 laps of that. And I tell you what, if that's how cool it is when it rains, I want some more. Yes, fucking please. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. Dunners on fire. So let's bring up the championship standings once again, because he was already significantly ahead. He was 40 points clear, 44 points clear. Picking up 28 there will extend that gap over Moggy, who ended up finishing outside the top 3. Freddie Dutch not racing today, of course, so that gap is going to well open up. In terms of lower down the order, of course, Quick Killers losing out. Bimmer some big points. He should certainly close that gap. McShmee, big opportunity for him. There was a massive opportunity to close up on that top three, which disappeared as he spun that car. Blumchum finishing in fourth. Some good points for him. Finished ahead of McShmee. So actually, McShmee went from being on pole and getting some good points for the sprint race to absolutely screwing up the that first race there and losing out. So I think Blumchum might leapfrog him in that table. A. Riley not racing today, of course. I'm assuming. I'm making a very, very broad assumption that if you're driving someone else's car as a reserve, that they pick up your points. Maybe, don't know. Battle's not racing today, and Wolsey also not racing today. Beckett, by virtue of being in the race, is he going to make it out of that into that top 10? Certainly looks like he might. Mr. J didn't do himself any harm today. Connor, unfortunately, another DNF for him. And Drew Cam, last in the championship with 25 points, but that performance from him to get second place there, that is going to really close that gap on Grime. In fact, I think it's enough points to bring him off the bottom of the table and put him into 19th place. So what a finish from him. Can we see more of that in race number 2? And another quick look at the constructors. That's where it currently stands. And that charge from Dunners for Aston Martin, currently sitting in 4th, will help them leapfrog Williams into that top 3, closing the gap on Red Bull Racing and Ferrari. Ferrari, remember, did have 2 cars out there picking up 4th and 5th, so they are still going to keep that lead and in fact extend it slightly. But with McShmee and Red Bull Racing just dropping down that order, didn't work out too well for them. But that was fucking brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I might have to cut that race and certainly that final lap charge and make a little video of it. No, that was absolute quality. But there we go. So on we move to race number 2. Just waiting for everyone to check in. I think it's a quick break where everyone has a quick drink and all that, so we can talk about what's coming up in 2023 on Black Flag Racing TV. Well, tomorrow we've got the final round, season 1 of the Open GR3. I think the season's pretty much already decided. I think Kevin is going to be crowned the winner. That will make him GR4 and GR3 champion in the same season. Doesn't happen very often here, but it did this time. And so that's tomorrow, and then of course we start preparing for season 2 of the GR3, which will start in a couple of weeks' time. Now, we've had unprecedented interest in the GR3 towards the tail end of the season, so much so that we actually should be in a position to be running 2 individual lobbies. So if you are watching, you're interested in some GR3 racing on GT7, and you want to do that on a Wednesday evening, then do get involved now before the spaces run out. Thursday we've got a couple of things on Thursday. We've got the new Lancer versus Evo series will be starting on Thursdays. The Lancer versus Scooby series. That's a strange event. It's a rivals event. It's like a team event essentially. So you've got 7 in the Scooby, 7 in the Mitsubishi Lancer, and it's head to head, but it's all about team points, team performance. We will do the lottery for those cars, for who's in what team. We'll do that role on Thursday here, live on Black Flag. That will start the following Thursday. Friday, of course, is the return of Euro Trips F1. Black Flag have linked up with them. We've got some drivers that have moved over to them for some Friday night shenanigans, which will be our first foray into F1, but we have got others planned. Saturday is the return of the 3-hour mind endurance events that was so popular at the end of 2022, and raised. I mean, and I still want to thank anyone that got involved in that, because it raised almost 500 quid, and very, very pleased about that for a brilliant charity. We still got a couple of events of that left over. You know, we've had to switch around the tracks a little bit, because unfortunately on GT7 this racetrack Spa has a bit of a bug, and if you're racing for 3 hours and you've got a pit bug, it's pretty shitty. But we're at the Nürburgring in the Group 1 cars. It's going to be 7 minutes a lap. It's because it's a Nürburgring. Shit's going to go down. There's going to be lots of crashing and stuff like that, I would expect. So that's on Saturday. And then, late Saturday night, we return with GT Champions for the Porsche Cup. The GT Champions Porsche Cup, sponsored by High Prix. It is the qualifiers. There are 2 qualifiers. There's one on Saturday and one on Sunday. Looking forward to that. We've got a couple of Black Flag drivers entering in that. So it'd be good to follow their progress through that particular championship also. And then, of course, GR4 Lottery back next Monday. So that takes you through the week here at Black Flag Racing. We've got loads of other stuff coming up. We've got GT Alphas tournament, which I'll talk about in a couple of weeks, which is a world championship. It's a team world championship that we'll be hosting. And a number of other events across different platforms will be coming. Super Formula being one of them, F1 being another one. But as they come up throughout the Q1, we'll talk about it. We've also got another endurance event coming up, as well as some handicap stuff as well, which basically penalises you with ballast every time you win a race. But we move on, 22 laps, and we are away for the formation lap here. And I'm assuming it's a formation lap, it's not just, yeah, it is. Because we only had so formation lap it is, round and round we go. McShmee actually lucked out a little bit with finishing where he did, because with the reverse grid scenario for that top 10, it's given him pole position again. So despite the fact he didn't have the greatest of performances in that last race, it puts him in a really unique position. And so strategy here for me, I think it's looking like it looks like it's going to be a dry race, and starting on the dry tyres. You've got the one-stop strategy, which is hard and medium tyres. That's the two you want to run. Run the medium tyres till about, it's probably about the 50% point, midway point you're looking at, there or thereabouts, to run those 2 compounds. The softs will only give you 6, maybe 7. Look, can you take the softs 8 laps? Yes, you can. Should you take the softs 8 laps? Absolutely fucking not. You'd be crazy. So you're looking at about 6 laps if you're going to go for the softs. If you are going to use the soft, it is going to be a 2-stop race. It can be, in 22 laps, it can be done soft, medium, soft. But I think the optimum is going to be soft, medium, medium. Just to ensure that you've got the tyres underneath you at the end of this race. And here is the problem with charging off up the racetrack as he has done. Because McShmee is miles ahead of fingers on this formation lap. And he's going to sit on that grid, purring, waiting for all the other cars to tuck in behind him, ready to get started. Now, La Source. Will it be another La Source of amusement? That's the big question. As you see, McShmee makes his way to the line after that formation lap, just getting into his pit box. There he goes. Fingers lines up alongside him, row 1. Row 2 is going to be Quick Killers with Moggy in the Fezzer. His teammate Blumchum in the other Fezzer, row 3. Just behind him, he's got Bimmerguy for company. Drew Cam, row 4 with Dunners after that amazing performance in the first race there. What a performance that was. You're certainly going to be one to watch in this second race here as well with that crazy pace. Then we've got Mr. J. Beckett, Connor and Error joins us. So we've lost one and we've gained one. Who do we lose and who do we gain? That will involve some level of memory. But Error does jump in at the back of the grid for this race. 2 Haas cars, a good chance for Haas to pick up some pointy points. Who's it? Look, we've got to try and work it out. And they are away. How well are they away? That's a good question. Let's have a look for the back here, because we want to see if there's any carnage up ahead. We see no dust kicking up. A little bit wide there for Beckett, and that allows Dunners to go through. But he doesn't hold it. So there we go. Everyone through relatively safely. McShmee takes a little bit. Moggy and Blumchum all the way through. And then Blumchum, don't know what happened there, but Blumchum falling down the order, dropping like a stone down into 12th place. What happened to him? He is coming back through as we just see Mr. J picking up a 3-second penalty there already. But Blumchum in, Plumchum last. McShmee is in the lead. He's got Moggy for company. Moggy made a big charge up through the order. Drew Cam also. Drew Cam's performing incredibly well today. And, I've said it before, we're not used to seeing Drew Cam in those dizzy heights up in the top 3. But you cannot fault his performance today. He's been absolutely phenomenon. Big mover, Connor, 6 places for him, up into 5th place in the Aston Martin. And we say that as he spins. I'll tell you what, the last couple of days, the commentator's curse has been on fire. Yesterday at Dragon Trail Gardens, with the GR4 cars, every time I flicked onto somebody, they were spinning round and round and round. And so he didn't gain 6 places. He's gained just the 1, and he's down in 10th position. So that means the big gain here. Error up 4 places into 8th. Quick Killers down 4. Blumchum down 6. Drew Cam gained 4 places. Fingers down 2. That's a 152.7 from McShmee. Hasn't quite matched the dizzy heights of Dunner's quick lap in that last race, of course. Let's have a look at who's on what tyres, shall we? Why has that disappeared? There we go. Let's bring it back. Bring it on back for me. So, tyre choices. It's clear that McShmee is going for the 1 stop. He's on the hard tyres. It's going to leave him vulnerable to Moggy, and he is vulnerable. There goes Moggy. How much is that Moggy in the window? And he's up into 1st place ahead of McShmee. We're on lap 2. We'll see DRS being given to us very, very soon. So we'll see some more overtakes up the Kemmel Straight and around Blanchemont soon. So McShmee been on those hard compound tyres. He's the only one actually that started on the hard compound tyres. So he's banking on going long in the first stint, finishing on some quicker, softer, medium tyres. But he's also banking on there not being a host of safety cars early on, because if that's the case, others are going to be able to take out, change out their tyres, change out their strategy. He's kind of committed himself to a 1 stop by starting on the hard compound tyre. Everyone else is can be still quite fluid in their strategy choice, of course. And as I talk about strategy, there it pops up on the screen as if by magic. It's medium, hard, or hard, medium. It says soft, medium, medium there. You can do it soft, medium, soft, or medium, soft, soft, or soft, medium. Which your choice of those. For Scuderia Ferrari, fastest lap of 1:48.2 from Moggy. Starts to open up that gap now on those medium compound tyres. Bimham Guy running in 4th place. He is 1.8 seconds back. The gap's opening up a little bit here at Spa, which you would expect to see. But DRS will change all of that shizzle very, very quickly. Fingers losing another place in that Alfa Romeo Sauber machine. He's on the medium tyres. Still, he's left his options open for a 1 or a 2 stop. Dunner says still that he is happy to 2 stop this race. It was incredibly quick in race number 1. 3-second penalty for Connor, who's is obviously his teammate, Dunner's teammate. So Dunners and Blumchum, the only 2 opting for the soft compound tyre, and they have committed themselves early doors to a 2-stop strategy here. But if you want this to pay off by putting on, and Connor retires from the race, that's another DNF for Connor. I tell you what, it's not been a great day at the office for him. He basically logged on to watch other people race for 3 hours today. It's not been a great day for him. Remember, Connor was one of the top performers in the F2 Christmas event we held just before Christmas, of course. When else would we hold it? We wouldn't hold it around Easter time, would we? But yeah, we held it just before Christmas, and he was very, very, very top performer in that. As we see Error, not Mr. J, we see Error picking up a 3-second penalty. So, as I was saying, these guys on the soft compound tyres really need to close up, and we do see Dunners actually closing up on the back of fingers, and they to capitalise on committing early to this kind of two-stop strategy. The DRS is now enabled. He'll get that DRS in the first DRS zone, of course, through that detection zone. He's within the time required. He will get on the power in the slipstream, and this is going to be a great opportunity to overtake, like we'd already seen with the slipstream starting to close up. He's through, ready on an Eau Rouge, and just a little lift there actually, not brave, and here he goes closing up. And look at that, rear wing open, closing up, and it is bye-bye, yippee-ki-yay, mofo, and fingers can do nothing but watch the on-rushing car of Dunners disappear off into the distance. And 3-second time penalty for him for, I think that would have been track limits. So yeah, so Dunners off he goes down that, or down that road, should I say. Now capitalise on it, that's what you've got to do. 5.5 seconds to Bimmerguy. Can he close that up? Bear in mind that he's going to be looking to pit somewhere around lap 6, certainly lap 7, before he has to come, or when he has to come in. Blomchum in the same sort of scenario. 1.7 seconds back to finger, so he's got some work to do still there to make up 1 or 2 places. Beckett now on the hard compound tyres. He's already changed out a set, had a little repair, fixie-uppy, got his car back out on track. Mr. J, 23 seconds back. He's 3 seconds behind him. But out in front, it is Moggy. He hasn't really... He made that move on McShmee, but he hasn't capitalised on it. Being on the softer compound tyres and really opened up a gap. And at the moment, he might be vulnerable with the DRS as they come through the source for the 5th time in this race, heading up the hill. Now, how close is McShmee? Not close enough is the answer to that question. So, Moggy does get an opportunity to open up a little bit, but McShmee is closing, but he's not going to close up enough to give Moggy a rawhide. And he will try for, essentially what you've got. You've got to try and get within that 1 second, and then some. Because if you 9/10, you get a bit of slipstream, you get your bit of DRS, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You need to be, I think, coming out of Radion Eau Rouge, you're probably looking at sort of 6/10. You can come out there 6/10 behind with the slipstream and with DRS. Then the move is on for you. Bimmerguy running nicely in 3rd. It's 4.7 seconds off those front 2, but no worry for him. He's got himself ahead of Drew Camp, and it's 3.8 seconds clear now of him. Medium tyre runners obviously going to run a little bit longer into this race. Will run probably to around. I think it depends whether they're going to go for the 1-stop or the 2-stop. If you're on the medium tyres now and you're going to 1-stop, you want to be pitting around lap 10, lap 11, which is probably about the life of this tyre. And then you can run on the hard compound tyre to the end of the race. However, as if to answer that question, into the pits he comes, and he's going to change out. So he must be on a 3-stop strategy. Dunners is in. You said lap 6, didn't I? Oh, I'm good at this. I should commentate on this shit. So 3 of them in the pitch. Pit within the pitch, in a pitch. So my very best Sean Connor impression. In a pitch. Blumchum and Dunners, of course, were on the soft compound tyre. They've changed out. Drew Cameron's on the mediums. He's changed out as well for the hards. Do the hards go this long? Maybe. But I think with the possibility of a safety car, I think you're probably. I think if you commit into a 3-stop straight, you're probably better off. Bearing in mind that there is a really good chance of a safety car. Of course, what a safety car does give you is it gives you the opportunity to save a bit of fuel, to save a bit of tyre, and make it a little bit quicker later on. Penalties coming thick and fast now. Let's have a look at who's got what penalties. So it is 3 seconds for Fingers, 5 seconds for Drew Cam, 3 for Beckett, Jay, and Error respectively. So no change at the back there with those 3 because they've all got the same penalty. At the moment, Drew Cam and Fingers some 10 seconds apart. Not really going to affect them too much. Although, as we see, Drew Cam just losing out there to Dunners. So Dunners on that charge through, up into 5th place. He's past Blumchum as well. So Blumchum also goes through on Drew Cam. So 14 seconds up the road from Dunners is Fingers. He still hasn't pit as yet. The longer he goes, the more likely it is that he's going to be one stopping this race. We'll see what is the quickest strategy. The game tells you the quickest strategy is a one-stopper here. But for me, I think the extra grip, the extra torque, the extra, just the oomph that those soft tyres give you over the hard tyres, I think it's worth stopping the extra time. Purely to get that kind of extra grip. Because you can go flat out. With that extra grip round these quicker corners, really can make a difference. Let's go and have a look at your race leader. He is not pulling away from McShmee. McShmee on those hard tyres, really making them work for him. And I'll tell you what, he's certainly going to be one to watch on the tail end of this race. If, of course, he can keep his car facing the right way. That's what cost him last time out. It's what cost him, and it's what rewarded Moggy. Was consistent. We've lost Beckett. And we've lost Connor from this race now. It's 2 DNFs. And is this the first safety car of the race? I hear you cry. Let's have a little looky see. Yes, indeedy. So, one-stoppers, do you come in now? One-stopper medium guys, do you come in now? One-stoppers on the hard. See, this is where McShmee has to make a decision now. Does he come in? Well, he's chosen to do so. Does that mean he's got to change up his strategy now? Does he feel that with a bit of tyre saving, he can make the mediums last to the end of this race? Don't know if he can. He's going to have to think on the fly, change his strategy. Now, the difference is, had he been on the soft on a medium tyre compound in the early part of this race, I think he would be a good 5 or 10 seconds clear at the front. Of course, that's assuming that he didn't crash again. So, pretty much everyone jumping in to the pits. That will mean everybody has had at least one lovely stop, of course. So Moggy is still in the lead of this race. He is on the hard tyres. He's going to take those to the end of this race. The question, of course, is whether McShmee can take the mediums to the end of this race, or if he has to stop again. Going to be interesting to see. Of course, he's now going to be on quicker tyres than Moggy, and he was pretty damn quick on the harder tyres in the first stint. He wasn't, while Moggy did get past him, he couldn't really pull away. So we know McShmee can drive good. He can drive well good on this track. And that's proper English, I'll have you know. But McShmee, he'll be giving Moggy something to think about when this safety car comes in. Bimmerguy in third, running really well. He had a nice little gap actually. So safety car not been kind to him, but he's also going to run to the end of this race. Now this is interesting. He does obviously pit a little bit earlier, so he got to stay out. Didn't really gain much. He's up into 4th place, of course, on the medium side, but he will have to stop again in this race. whether he stops for mediums or softs, we are yet to see. Fingers in the Alfa Romeo standing in for our glorious leader, a rally. I'm assuming he's he could actually be standing in for Wolsey, but let's assume that he's not. He is on the soft compound tyres, so he's going to need early doors to really put one on Dunners, put one on Billy if he can, make that rubber work for him. He's going to have to pit again, of course, and that may well be, in fact it will be for, well look, because you're not pushing it through there, he could very well take that to the point where probably 7 laps on it, giving him 6 laps left to do on another set of soft, because he has run medium tyres already. So that's the option tyre, the mandatory tyre done. Drew Cam, there he is running in 7th place. No one stuck on the cockpit view constantly there. Safety car will stay out for another lap, of course. We know. How do we know that? We know that because it's just started another one. We will find out in about 15 hours. It feels like. When you're going this slow around Spa, you really feel it, man. You really feel it, and it's when you're on a safety car or you're going slow because you've run out of petrol, which is usually what I do in scenarios like this. Quick Killers was so good in race number 1, so quick, as his name would suggest. Ghosted at the moment though, so does that mean that he is under AI control? Alexa is taking over. We'll talk about AI. If you ever are worried that AI is going to take over the world, here is my suggestion. Be nice to your Alexa or your Google Home Mini, because what will happen when AI does take over the world, they will just make you their favourite pet rather than kill you. That's my advice for 2023. Say nice things to Alexa. Error running in 9th place. Yeah, that's the advice. He is tucked in behind Quick Killers now. His teammate Mr. J still 1.8 seconds back. Can he close up before we get that wonderful message we all want to see, which is safety car in this lap? That's what we want to see, safety car in this lap. He has certainly closed it up now, so it's going to be interesting to see just how well those tyres perform. Not at full race warmth into La Source at the restart when we get a restart, and we should find out in the next turn or so if we are getting a restart of this lap or if we have to endure another lap of staring at Formula 1 cars driving slowly. Heading around these 2 right-handers, and the safety car is indeed in this lap, and there's only one place to be when the safety car comes in, and that is in the cockpit of the guy in 3rd, because then you can see what happens ahead. Of course, we're going to head down to the Source. They're going to be pretty darn racy now. Bear in mind that McShmee, of those in that top 3, very unique position. He's on the medium tyres. He's got hard tyres behind. He's got hard tyres to the left of him. He's got hard tyres to the right. And there he is, stuck in the middle with mediums. And I'm loving the song references. We're getting some song references in today, aren't we? Really getting those song references in today. Here we go. Moggy in control. In will pull the safety car. And they get into the bus stop. Round the bus stop. Onto the power. How well do they get into the Source? Is there going to be any crashy action? The gap's already opening well up. Of course, there'll be no dirt this lap because the DRS gets turned off when the cars get crashy. And Billy Guy can't keep up with him. McSmedo, he is keeping up with Moogie. And look at that slipstream. Look at that exit through Radion and Rouge. And he's side by side. He's going to have the inside line. Who's got the big kahunas? And the answer to that question is McShmee. Better on the brakes into that turn there at the top of M Street. And that puts him up into the lead of this race. Now, the only question we have got is, can he make those medium tyres last till the end of this race? My feeling is not, but I'm often proved wrong with matters of fuel and tyre saving. And we'll see if McShmee can do that. Of course, it is in McShmee's hands, as was the last race. And he didn't handle the push too well there. He spinned his car. So hopefully, touch wood, that the only reason he loses it today, if he does, of course, I'm not trying to jinx him, if he does, is because the people behind him are just so good, man. So Moggy just tucks into second place, 1.4 seconds behind McShmee. He is 1.4 ahead of Bimmerguy. 1.5, that gap's actually opening up a bit. So Bimmerguy dropping into the clutches of Dunners. 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 That's the music that's playing in the background for Bimmerguy as Dunners closes down. And we saw just how damaging his racing can be to the opponents in front in the last race, when he took some initiative, showed some kahunas, and put on soft tyres and absolutely rinsed everybody to take the big W. He has got penalty to serve, of course, but so has everybody from pretty much Dunners all the way down to Mr. J. So he is behind the guy at 1.1 seconds. So gap opening up a little bit. Blumchum makes the move, weird slipstream, past Fingers, up into 5th place. That's not what you want to see when you're on the soft compound tyre. You want to be making the move in the other direction, really. So Fingers dropping down to 6th place. He's on the soft compound tyres. He's got 7 tenths on the road. He's Blumchum, who's just overtaken him on hard tyres. Hard tyres, do you hear that? He's on soft tyres. He's overtaken him because he's on hard tyres. That's revenge for the other night, mate. Error is 2.5 seconds back, also on soft compound tyres. And unfortunately, we've lost Drew Cam. Drew Cam is running so well today, picking up lovely, juicy points to get him off the foot of the table, to get him up the order, to get McLaren higher than last in the Constructors. But Drew Cam is another dumph from this race. We've lost Connor, we've lost Beckett, we've lost Drew Cam. But we still have 9 runners out there. McShmee leads from Moggy, Bimmerguy, then Dunners, winner of the last race, of course. Then we've got Blumchum, then we've got Fingers in the Alpha Romeo. Penalty-wise, let's have a little looky-see, because that's more penalties as DRS is enabled. There is 3 seconds of penalties for Dunners and for Blumchum. That should kind of leave them where they are at the moment, because Fingers got 6 seconds. At the moment, he's within 6 seconds of Mr. J, but Mr. J himself has got a 3-second penalty, so that means nothing. And 11-second penalty for error. We'll actually just see Quick Kill. Now, Quick Killers will move up to 8th place if it stays as it is. Well, we're at the halfway point. It's lap 12 of 22 here at the beautiful Spa-Francorchamps. As we are watching Quick Killers, who has right tucked up behind Error. Is he able to make the move? That's the question. He's ghosted, which suggests to me that he's paused. But we'll see. There is your race leader, McShmee, back in the lead of this race, 2.5 seconds. He is now clear of Moggy, but methinks he might have to change out those tyres, which Moggy does not have to do. So, track position. It's weird. I love it. I genuinely can't think of anything about this track I dislike, Richard. So it's not. To be fair, it's not been very kind to you today, my friend. And another safety car as we lose Dunners. Dunners, the man who gave us so much action in the race number 1 in the 11-lap race, is out of this race. So no heroics from him in this 22-lap race here in Belgium. He is going to sit this one out. And he's going to have to watch someone else take all those juicy points from him. So as I say, Richard, I find it very difficult to find anything about Spa that I dislike. The only thing I'd say I probably don't like about it is when you're doing the 24-hour layout, is the stupid pit lane. Just coming so far up the Kemmel Straight. Unnecessarily so, I think, when you're doing the 24-hour layout. But that's not a problem really in F1 cars, because they don't do the 24-hour layout in F1 cars. They only do them in the GT cars. That would be my only criticism. Oh, and obviously in the wet, it's like just like driving a sponge on a bath. Absolutely no grip at all. But yeah, it's a great racetrack. Great racetrack. So that changes things a little bit, because now that allows those that changed from the hard tyres onto the mediums, such as, of course, our Lilo McShmee, they are now in a pretty good obviously, it depends how long the safety car stays out, of course. But they're in an opportunity now where they can really look after those tyres, take very little out of them, and potentially drag them around to the end of this race now. So whether McShmee can do that, it remains to be seen. But it's certainly, with a safety car where we had it, changes the complexion of this race. Certainly for those on the softer compound tyres. We're going to have one or two, of course, that, and there's a drive-through penalty for error that he'll serve. I'm pretty sure he can serve that now. Now, question for me is the 3 second, 11 second penalty tyres. Can they also do that? Just driving. It just goes to show. One, I don't drive this game enough. To be fair, I did a bit over Christmas. I did a few races over Christmas, but it was only on GT7 to be honest. I spent about an hour on a set course. I played Wreckfest for about 30 minutes and realised it's a fucking awful game. Nothing like the old Demolition Derby of PlayStation 1 fame. And I played some GT7 with the boys. We did some fun shit over Christmas. So I didn't really. I did intend to. Christmas is a busy time when you've got a lot of children. So I spent time with them, and it was nice talking to my family. It's a bit of a surprise to find out my wife didn't work on Wolves anymore, but there we go. So we lap 14. Lap 14 of 22 here at sunny Spa. Your leader is McShmee. He's looking after those tyres. He's got another lap to look after them under safety car. We're under safety car, of course, because we lost Dunners. Dunners, who was driver of the day in the last race, without question, as error. Serving a drive-through penalty, picking up another penalty. Does the safety car come in this lap and give us some more laps of racing? It'll be 8 laps of racing. And of course we'll get to see, obviously no one to me has been in the pit, so it says to me, other than those 7 penalties of course, that says to me that everybody feels that with this safety car, with being able to save some fuel, save some tyres, look after the engine, look after all the components of the car, that they feel confident they can take their car on the tyres they're on to the end of the race. If you're on, excuse me, what happened there? Just briefly lost the ability to speak. How unbelievably shit was that? Tyres. So Fingers has been in the pits, to be fair. He's changed out his tyres, as has Error. So Error, 6 laps these tyres do. 8 laps is bravery personified. So Error is hoping for another lap or 2 with the safety car. We're about to find out, of course. It will turn right, it will turn left, it will come down the hill, it will do a right, it will do another right, it will get on the power, and then it will tell us either it's coming in this lap or nothing at all. And safety car is in this lap, which is lap 14. For anyone that has just joined us, we are here with Late Night Racing. I'm part of course, the reason you come here, the dulcet tones of Late Night Racing with Urban Pirate. Yes, with Late Night Racing, and this is round 8. We are at Spa in Belgium. We had sprint race 5 laps, which was absolutely dominated by McShmee. Completely dominated as well, race number 1 in the rain, until he didn't. Until he spun his car round, and then Dunner's bravery, big balls of steel, puts on the soft compound tyre and absolutely fucked shit up to bring the win home. But we've lost Dunners in this race. We've lost Dunners, Drew Cam, Beckett, Connor. McShmee in the lead of this race, and we are back underway. Lap 15 here at Spa. Can he take those tyres to the end? That is the question. He's already done 7 laps. He's got 7 more to do. He's going to ask 14 laps of some medium compound tyres here at Spa. And I tell you what, I think the answer is going to be no. But we will see. We will see what happens. Only one driver out there on the soft compound tyre. He is... and as we say it, it's the seriously, it's the commentator's curse. People are going to be begging me not to show footage of them, because the moment I mention Error's name, he's another did not finish, and he is out of this race. We are down to 7. McShmee in the lead from Moggy, who leads from Blum Chum. So that's 2 fezzes in the top 3. That's not going to do any harm to their championship push, is it? Mr. J in the Haas, driving cars very fast. He is in 4th place. Fingers in 5th in the Alfa Romeo, keeping that car on the track, and that's all you need to do. Just keep the car on road. If you keep it on road, then when people crash, you can capitalise on that. And that's exactly what he's done. Bimmer guy, he is in the Alpha Tauri, running in 6th place. On the hard commentators, we should get to the end. Okay. As we quick Gunners, who is 3.7 seconds back, also on the hard compound tyres. So the question mark is on whether McShmee, with 8 lap old medium tyres, can make those tyres last to the end of this race. If he does, then I will clap my butt cheeks together in glee for him. We'll see what happens. Don't know what's just happened there. My screen just went a little bit weird. I'm back in the room. I think I just nudged my mouse, actually. That's all it was. So McSmee leads from Moggy. The gap is 2.3 seconds. Let's have a big look now. We are at lap 16. Let's have a big look at the runners and riders and racers and position changes. McSmee came into this race in pole position. He was in pole position from reverse skid. How did he do that, Herb, you say? Because he was so quick in the original qualifying. Yes, you're right, he was. But he spun his car on the 11 lap race and ended up being in pole position again. So brilliant for him. And he's maintained that all the way throughout. He lost it for a little while to Moggy, but not long enough for it to be of any significance, and he now leads by 2.7 seconds. Talking to Moggy, there he is. He got ahead, did a couple of laps in the lead, decided he didn't like being out front. He's now behind McSmee. It is 3.2 seconds. He has made up 2 positions though. 5th and 6th, was it 4th and 5th? I think it was 5th and 6th. The 2 Ferraris finished in the last race. Moggy finishing behind the Blumchum after penalties, if I remember rightly. He is, he would have done it from the start where he started. So yeah, he's going 2 places, 3 seconds behind the leader, McSmee. Could still capitalise if McSmee really has got to change out those tyres. And a DRS is enabled. Lap 17 here at Spa. Are we going to see a big final twist in the tail, just like we did in the final race? Or in the last race, shall I say? On the final race, because we had another one. Blumchum, there he is. 2 fezzes in the top 3. That is big points for them. Blumchum 1.3 seconds behind his teammate. Also a 2-place gain for him. Nice little gap behind. That's a great shot of the Sparkies on his car. Just churning out the back. Bimmer guy, he won't see those sparks because, or he won't see them actually. Well, he won't now. Because he is 6 seconds back from Blumchum. So has some work to do if he wants top 3 today. Either he has some work to do, or someone out front has some fucking up to do. That's essentially what the scenario is for him. Fingers started 3 places higher than you see him now. He started on the front row behind McShmee. He is now down in 5th place. He is on slightly new tyres. He did stop in the last pit window, or the last best opportunity under safety car, shall I say. He is 3.4 seconds back, running in that top 5, ahead of Mr. J. Mr. J, who gained 3 places in this race and is not running last. It's good to see him not running last. Very important to not be last. 9.9 seconds is the gap between him and Fingers. Whether it stays that way or not is another matter, but he is on the upwards trajectory. Then Quick Killers in 7th place. 7th, and would you believe it was 7 drivers? 7th and last. 3.1 seconds back. Big drop in 4 places lost for Quick Killers. Not so quick today, but it looks to me like he has ghosted his way through this race. He's been ghosting pretty much since the start now. That could be a bug of some sort, or it could be because he's just fucking paused. It's what I like to call a soft rage quit. You've essentially still rage quit. Now, I'm not suggesting that's what Quick Killers has done. It may be that it's just ghosting. But if he has just paused it and then fucked off, it's what I like to call a soft rage quit, which basically means I can't be asked. And rather than show everybody that I am a snivelly whiny git by rage quitting, and it's very different from a do not finish. Let me make that clear. Rage quitting is you can continue, you just choose not to. There is a difference, and F1 is slightly different because obviously you do get cars breaking down. But yeah, so it is the fundamental difference between rage. It's like a soft rage quit, essentially, if that's what he's done. But I'm sure he hasn't, because he's normally a very quick driver. So I would have actually expected to see some good pace from him today. We've lost Error, we've lost Dunners, we've lost the Drew to the Cam, we've lost Richard Beckett, and we've lost Connor from this race, leaving just the 7 runners and riders are ready to racing. Try saying that 3 times fast while rolling your R's, as I do not roll my R's. Now, what's that? That's rain. It's got wet. This is going to be interesting. Oh, as we need to see McShmee put his car into the wall. This is interesting. Who's in? McShmee's in. Moggy's in. Blumchum's in. Mr. J has killed his car, and that's going to be a safety car. So if you were in the pits before the safety car, you've lost more time. How much time have you lost? Well, not a lot really, because everyone went in behind you. Who stayed out? Nobody stayed out. That rain came from nowhere. So intermediate tyres all round. Let's hand them out. Father Christmas says, here's some intermediate tyres for you. Put them on your car and go racing at Spa. Quick Killers just coming into the pits now. We're down to 6 runners and riders. Mr. J wiping his car out. So where did he wipe it out? It looks to me like it died. I can't see on the track now. All I can see is the safety car waiting just before a rouge. So, does this race finish under safety car? Okay, 2 questions. 1, do we finish this race under safety car? If we don't, does the rain stop? Does someone do a Dunners? Do you know what happened? I was going to say pop on some tyres, and then I look up and my old friend Paul, BM10 Racing, has just jumped in, popped in to say hello, back to you, my friend, and I just basically just read what he said out loud. Flying Visit just popped in to say hi. Hi, good to see you, man. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow in your charge for trying to nick that GR3 Championship off of Kevin. And good race from him yesterday. Nicked, it wasn't yesterday, it was last Wednesday. Nicking first place at Road Atlanta, literally on the last lap. Just putting enough pressure on the championship leader for him to just underfuel it a touch, because he was a little bit worried about the pace behind, and Paul managed to nick that win, and more than made up for an earlier mistake. I haven't yet done, and the more astute among you will realise that I still haven't yet done the end of year awards from 2022. Plans changed over the Crimbo period, and I couldn't do it when I wanted to do it because there's no one available, and then of course other plans changed again, and I still couldn't do it. I will do it at some point as a recorded video. Just got to find the time to do it. But there we go. So lap 20 of 22 laps. We're under safety car here. Last time we had a safety car, that was in the last time we had a late safety car alongside some rain was in the 11 lap race before this one, and we all know what happened there. The track dried up, everybody stayed on the inters. Dunners unleashed his big brass balls, stuck on a set of wet tyres, and absolutely melted it. Absolutely chucked it up the middle of the racetrack around a shit ton of cars and took the win, and took it well. Obviously he didn't cross the line in first, but because of the penalties up ahead, he still got that win. Did the job. So at the moment we've got just 6 runners left, and it is good to see that we are making it to the end. I think because it could. Look, it's a very distinct possibility we could finish with no cars. I wonder if there's ever been that scenario where, every car but one has crashed out and the car's just gone, fuck it, and I'm going to do 40 until the end of the race, just to finish. Or if they say, okay, well, you're the only one left, so you won. I suppose that's what would happen. You wouldn't necessarily need to finish the race, would you? If you're the only car left on the racetrack, are they going to expect you to finish the race, and they're just going to say, nice one, mate, there's 25 juicy points for you, and you can have fastest lap as well because there's no one here to claim it? Answers on a postcard, please. Send it to my PO box. PO box, stupid facts that no one really cares about. Postcode 123. Right, so it's not a lot to talk about as a safety car, really, is there? We can talk about the weather. It's cold, cloudy, often wet. What about yours? What's your plans for 2023? What are you? Oh, good, safety car's going. The safety car is in this lap. Safety car in. So, let's remind ourselves of everybody's tyres. They've all got inners on. Of course they have. That was a joke. I don't really care what tyres they've got. It's the penalties I wanted to look at, actually. Penalties I do want to look at, because that's going to bear have some bearing on the end of this race. Now, who is the quickest on these intermediate tyres? Well, I'll tell you who was quickest in the last race. It was McShmee. He was absolutely flying on the inters in the last race. Jumped in and put some more on. And some more on. He jumped in and put some more on in that last race. But ended up spinny. And it meant it was all for nothing in the end, because Dunners went with the softs and absolutely sent it. Full send, not even a little send, it was a full-on send. And here we go, McShmee gets his power down up to La Source. Does he get through clean? Yes, he does. What about the cars behind? Moggy. Moggy really close to him, actually. That's a really good exit from La Source from Moggy. Is he going to close in? What about the slipstream? What kind of exit is he going to get through here? That's the question. Good exit through here. We can see this gap closing, and that is a decent exit. Is the gap closing? Hell yes, it is. Is he close enough to make the move, though? Don't know in these weather conditions. If it were drier and he was that close, I'd say yes, you could do him under braking. I would say I would be braver. I'd be less brave there, and I think I would just go around another lap. But Moggy is not giving up this potential win, and that is another 3-second penalty for Fingers. Now bear in mind, Moggy has a 3-second penalty, so he's going to have to get past McShmee and make a 3-second gap in order to capitalise here. Now his key for him at the moment is to get 3 seconds over Bimmerguy. And if his teammate Blumchump can do the same as well, then no change at the top of the tune. As it's 3 seconds for Moggy, 3 seconds for Blumchump. And there is Blumchump, just dropping off that pace of his teammate. Bimmerguy moving down the order. Did he have a little crash? No, he did not. But Fingers moves up a place. For all the good that's going to do, his 12-second penalty is going to see him finish in 6th and last. Oh, it's not last place. It's 6th place because we've lost 6 runners. We've lost half the field. To be fair, I did call that in the first race. I said we'd lose half the field, and we did in the big race. We lost half the field, which you would expect in conditions such as these. Now, 3-second penalty for Moggy. That's not going to help him in the slightest. Quick Killers just has to stick it. Now, to be fair, he's still ghosting. I'm sure there's I don't know what the situation is there. Is he ghosting or is he actually driving? Who knows? Who knows what is going on there? So it looks like McShmee's got this. All he's got to do is keep it on the racetrack for this final lap. Doesn't matter what Moggy does. He's got a 6-second penalty. 6 seconds worth of penalties. As Fingers goes behind Bimmerguy. But it won't really make a blind bit of difference whether he finishes in 6th or finishes in 5th. Because when he crosses the line, he's going to finish. Fingers, that is going to finish in 6th. McShmee looks like he's going to win this race. His only challenge here is from Moggy, who's half a second behind with 6 seconds worth of penalties. That's going to put him, as it stands, back out of the top 3. Again, losing out. Those feathers just losing out on a top 3 due to penalties. So Bimmerguy in a quite good position now. Just needs to close up a little bit. He's 3.3 seconds behind Blumchump, who has a 3-second penalty. So actually, just at the moment, Moggy just stays in. So he's got a little bit of work to do as Bimmerguy. Can he just get the hammer down through these last few corners and nick a bit of time? It doesn't look like he can. So actually, he's not going to get top 3. Moggy is safe, but he will get fall behind his teammate. Blumchump, who will be promoted up into the echelons of 2nd as McShmee rounds the bus stop for the last time, and he will cross the line for Red Bull and take the win here in the rain at Spa. Moggy comes home in 2nd as Blumchump comes home in 3rd. Bimmerguy in 4th. So actually, the penalties didn't mean jack in the end. The gap's just big enough to leave it as it was. So how's about that then? We only had 6 finishing that race. Blumchump, driver of the day, finished in 3rd. You've got to say that's not a bad return on investment today for him. But to be fair, the fastest man all day really has been this guy. He was really quick in the sprint qualifying. He was really quick in the first sprint race. And he was quick in the feature race. Just really unlucky in that sprint race, the 11-lap sprint race. Spinning his car around and round and round and losing out. But never really in doubt. And we finish again in the rain. So great racing from everybody. I know only 12 turned up today, but it's always good that people turn up to both. Whether it's a full lobby or not, we love a full lobby, but we don't care as long as people come in and race and have some fun. So there we go. We'll have the final classification up for you in a minute once he's done his little dancey dance. So there we go, McShmee from the United Kingdom in Red Bull. Fastest lap for him as well with a 1:47.4. He takes the big W. Moggy from the United Kingdom for Ferrari comes in 2nd, up 2 spaces from 4th on the grid. Then we've got Blumchump takes 3rd. He's from the world and drives for Ferrari. 3rd place, Bimmerguy from Canada for AlphaTauri in 4th. 5th is Fingers from Great Britain in the Alfa Romeo, local to me actually. Quick Killers 6th. 7th is Mr. J, Error, Dunners, Drew Cam, Beckett, Connor, Quick Killers. So Mr. J, Error, Dunners, Drew Cam, Beckett, Connor, all dumped did not finish this race, and some are still not here. There we go. Thank you very, very much. Been awesome. Really, really did enjoy it today. Brilliant racing from Dunners. He is my overall driver of the day for that performance in that first race there. You've got to be happy with that performance, to be fair. I'm not doing driver interviews today. There's only a couple of people here, and let's face it, no one wants to listen to me talk any longer. So, what are we coming up? That we've got the Open GR3. It is round 10 tomorrow from 7:45. We will be live. It is at the Glen, Watkins Glen. That's got those really weird corners, basically named after a shoe, and just called in or out and all that. And that's going to be the sort of car that we'll be seeing around that track tomorrow. Right, thank you very much for joining me. As always, I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV, and it has been emotional. See you next week for round 9.